This is the Political Spotlight.
The Political Spotlight is a joke. It's more like a political flop.
Nobody listens to Bilbrey.
He's just a wannabe podcaster. No one takes him seriously.
He is a rude, crude dude that will never go any further than broadcasting from his mother's basement.
Bilbrey is a wrecking ball for Indiana politicians.
Grab another box of Twinkies and generic cola, Bilbrey.
And get back to your microphone and your audience of nobodies.
The Political Spotlight is a joke.
He is like a rude, crude dude that will never go
Bilbrey's a wrecking ball for Indiana. Shut that stupid Bilbrey up.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I can see that we're dealing with a little bit of gravel, a little bit of not good picture. How are we on the audio sound? How are we doing audio-wise? Okay, if we're good audio-wise, that's all that truly matters to me at the moment. Give me a second here. I'm going to try and do a couple of things that hopefully will maybe help us a little bit, and we'll see how we roll here. Maybe we'll be clearing up a little bit. Just give me one moment here. I'm going to try to get out of that. So sound is good. Video's fuzzy. Well, we are working, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let me try to get this thing fixed here. Give me a second. I see. That's the problem. The banner was wrong. That was the problem. No, it's the audio. It's the video too. No, my apologies. Man, I tell you, give me a second here. I think that it's getting ready to straighten up. And then we're going to get into it. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So I completely got rid of the other audio of the monitor. We were supposed to be up on monitor, and I got rid of it. Okay, I can hear the audio seems to be good. The audio seems to be good. So we are slowly putting some pieces together. I'm fuzzy on Facebook too. That's interesting. That tells me. Okay, so that's interesting. All right, I'm doing a speed test. Give me a second to get this speed test out of the way, and then we're going to get into it. Yeah, see, that's the reason. Man, I don't understand why that upload is still at 0.5. Well, okay, here's all that matters. You can hear me. We'll deal with that, and we'll go with that. This will be like an old audio podcast, and you'll just imagine you're hearing me. We are working through this. I talked with Jason today. He's got a couple more things. The problem is, this is like a situation where you kind of triage the deal. You handle the most serious problems first, and we are dealing with problems, but none of those problems are saving the patient. The patient is still dying. And so we are, this is kind of like, it's like an episode of House. Everything we do, it fixes something, but it causes something else, and we're killing the patient. And we're coming into like the third and then the fourth act. So we're going to have to figure it out here soon. But it is going to get fixed, I promise you, because we do have the best people on it, I promise you. This is absolutely 1,000% just one long commercial for why Xfinity sucks. Just completely. It absolutely sucks. So, Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. I'll be honest, I'm not going to be happy or satisfied until I have 5 straight days in a row of no glitch, no audio glitch, no video glitch, and everything's back to normal. And then I will be happy. Once we've done that, I will be happy. So it is what it is. I think it looks clear now. It looks clear. And no, listen, Charlize, even last Thursday, we were having trouble there. It was killing me. So I don't know. It was nuts. I'm convinced that I've been attacked. I'm one of those people that affects electricity places where I go. So I'm just having to try to get around it. Maybe I need to do the show in a Faraday cage. Maybe I need that. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, we have several things that we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to be talking about some political and governmental issues, because you understand that those things are not the same, right? Political issues and governmental issues are not always the same things. Governmental issues are not always political, and political issues are not always governmental. Sometimes they are the same, and sometimes they cross, but not always. So we're going to be dealing with all of these. We're going to be dealing with some issues from Muncie, from Delaware County. We're going to be talking about some things going on in Newcastle and Henry County. We're going to be talking about some things going on in Knightstown. And we're also going to be talking about the region. Okay. And then we're going to be talking about very sad news with the Indiana talk radio community. So we're going to be talking about that here in a little bit. But before we get into that, thank you, Troy. That would be fantastic. Come back. Come back. I'll make sure you can fight and duke it out. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so now. That will be fun. We'll like to do it, and we would appreciate it if you give us that like. It would be wonderful. And we promise to make your show. Oh, we're having audio issues now too. Great. I tell you what, Kate's helping me, but you doing that action makes me want to kill you. And it's not you. It's because of what's happening. Like when I see you doing that, I've never wanted to harm you more than watching you. And it's not you. It's just what I know it means. Like that, seriously, she can flip me off all day long. But if Kate does this to me, like that, it raises my blood pressure. Like I literally it was good. I looked over and watched her do that. And instantly I got just absolute. I could have killed somebody. Well, great. Well, we're going to try to deal with it. Audio's back. We're good audio-wise? Okay, for the moment, good. Well, so let's get into it because you never know when we might have to bail. If anything, maybe this will start making the show shorter. Who knows? I don't know. That's not necessarily a good thing, but it is what it is. Is Alva here? I don't think I see Alva. Alva's like, all right, we're done. I'm not checking in anymore. So, what happens if I do that? What happens if I do this? No, wait a minute. What am I doing here? Give me a second. Oh, no, this is what I was trying to do. What happens when can you hear me? Does that sound good? I hate just you seeing this. Interesting. Well, if the audio and the video remains bad, we might look at doing that or keeping that up. Yeah, right. There's the please stand by. Yeah, give me a second. I need to turn that stuff down because I have that going and I know what was making me ding. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the deal. First and foremost, we're going to go just straight into the big thing. And the big thing is something happening here in Delaware County. And several of you, I've seen this from several. So in the last 12 to 18 hours, I have been being inundated by several different people. I think there's at least 9 that I've seen at various people either texting me. I got a phone call about it. I've seen people commenting about it. A couple people, I've got an email. People are asking why I have not said anything about the death that occurred in the Delaware County jail. Why haven't you said anything about the death of the lady in the jail? It's because you're covering it up. It's because you like the police. We knew it. You're afraid. You're afraid. I'm afraid to fight people in my own backyard. What? That's all I fight. That's what this has became. What are we talking about? No, I'm going to be perfectly honest. Okay. I'm going to just be 100% honest. Okay. We're going to get into the details of this, but apparently, no, you were just on the very end of it. So you got a little bit of, I was shitty towards you in that comment, but it wasn't you, it was other people. And finally I had been like, damn it, okay, no. So this is what the deal is. This woman, Jessica Sue Harden, and we'll talk more in depth about this in a moment, but I'm just going to start from here. This woman died, sadly. Okay, she was in jail, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean she's an evil person. It doesn't mean she's a bad guy. It means she made some bad decisions. Or maybe she made some bad decisions. She's innocent until proven guilty, just like everybody else is. So I'm not judging her in any way. People shouldn't judge her. She died in jail. Okay, people die all the time. We're going to talk about another death today. We just talked about Craig Wright. We're going to talk about Matt Blair here in a little bit. I don't know anything about why this girl died. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about autopsy, and we'll cover all of that. I promise you. So we see this post, and this post is not something I put together. This was put together by a Facebook page called Heather Unfiltered. Okay, Heather Unfiltered put this up. And Heather Unfiltered, we'll talk about all of that here in a minute. But this person died on August 10th. Okay, today's the 24th. So today is Monday the 24th. So a week ago was Monday the 17th. And a week before that was Monday the 10th. So 2 weeks ago today, she died. Now, I don't know the exact time yet. I'm working on getting all of this information. I'm working on getting all of the information, and I will have it soon. But when I tell you that I get information and have sources and have contacts that fill me in on things before anything else happens, and I break news a lot, and I carry a lot of information and get information and bring it out forward, that happens. But at the end of the day, I am only human. There's only me, and there's only Kate. Brandon communicates with us, but he's not doing like the digging and getting a lot of the information. We pass information back and forth to him, and he chats with us about other things. He's not local like Kate and I are. Okay. And he's never really done that side of it. So there's only really 2 of us that really get information in, and we're going to miss things. I only learned of this woman's death on Saturday. Okay. That was Saturday the 20th. So that was 20 whole days after she died. I didn't hear about this on the 10th. I didn't hear about it on the 11th. I didn't hear about it on the 12th or the 13th, the 14th. I didn't know. I just didn't know about it. Okay. Now, if it had been any normal week and she would have died on the 10th, and I wouldn't have known or heard or 11th, I would have probably found out something about it through the normal course of business of looking social media, checking things like that. But you got to keep in mind what was going on around the 11th, the 10th, the 13th. That was the flood. Okay. And we were dealing with it. I had, flood issues personally. We had things that we were covering. We had a lot of stuff going on. And then on top of that, we've also been having a month's worth of technical issues. If you're watching this, you can see we're still having technical issues right now. We're experiencing technical issues. We are addressing them. I swear to God, just help me deal with it. We will get through this together. And it will be our long national nightmare, I promise. It will be over too. So, for one reason or another, okay, not my fault, not Kate's fault, not anybody out there's fault, maybe the Star Press's fault. I don't know. We'll talk about that. It could have been Kate's too. She's taking the blame for it. But no, seriously, for one reason or another, sadly and unfortunately, I only heard about this on Saturday. And on Saturday, we didn't have a show. And I had personal, oh yes, always. I'm just letting people know that might not know. But I'm letting, so we didn't do a show Saturday, and I had a party and things going on. And then yesterday, Sunday, when we did do our first show back, it wasn't really a show. It was a technical thing. We were testing some things. And then we talked about Craig, and we talked about the governor's deal. But I'm going to be perfectly honest about this. The main reason that we've not covered this really in detail is simple, because there's been very little verified information available. And I didn't plan on filling those gaps with rumors or speculation. A 36-year-old woman died. Sad. It's a sad situation. She died while in custody of the Delaware County government. And that deserves questions. And I'm not mad at anybody for questioning that. I'm not mad at anybody for asking questions of the government or for asking questions of the newspaper or for poking or prodding me. I'm not mad about any of that. I'm perfectly fine with all of that. Those questions deserve to be asked, and we are going to ask them. But the questions need to be based on facts. Tonight, we're going to talk about what we know and what we still don't know, and what I've heard from the sheriff, the coroner, the prosecutor, and moreover, what the sheriff, the coroner, and the prosecutor need to clarify. We're going to talk about all of that. So, we will get to things. The last thing that I want to say is, if you, the wide public out there, and I know, for example, I told, and I'm going to cover this, I wanted Troy to call me, I wanted to call him, or vice versa, and then craziness occurred, and I still want to get with you over the phone, because I want to talk, I need to tell you something over the phone, so I still will get with you, and it's timely, but not like crazy timely, so I'll try to get with you tomorrow, Troy. If you'll be around, I'll try to we'll get in contact, because I want to pass along some information to you that I don't think that you know, but I want to give you this information. I mean, it's nothing major, but I want you to know what it is. But we always tell you guys out there, if there's something going on and you want us to cover it, contact me. And if you say, well, I don't know how to do that, you're lying or something's wrong with you. Because if you're telling me you don't know how to get in contact with me, that's your own fault, because we put my phone number out there. There's my phone number. You can text me. You can call me. We put my personal email. My personal email is there. That's easy. We put the show email there. Okay. We put the Facebook page to the Political Spotlight. We put my Facebook page. And while we don't give out Kate's information, you guys, if you used your brain, could probably reach out to her on social media. Okay. And I'm people do. So if there's ever something that you want covered that we haven't covered, or you're not seeing us talk about it, contact me. I get people that do that all the time. If you're ever hearing something that we're not talking about, message me. 100 times a day, I get people reaching out to me, telling me the same story that 10,000 other people are telling me. And I don't ever get mad, because one of these times, that person that's calling me right there will be the first person. Someone's always the first person to tell me something. So don't ever worry about that. If there's something that you feel that we should be covering, let me know. If somebody else is, I'm never mad or rude to people. I'll say, hey, oh, yeah, thank you very much. Cool. And then we'll deal with it. Okay. So I wanted to get that out there. All right. So now let's talk about the facts surrounding this. Okay. Because it's important, and it should be important. And this was a person, and she had family and friends and people who loved her and cared about her, people that want to know what's going on. Okay. So the Star Press themselves didn't do an article on this until Saturday. Okay. So their article didn't come out until Saturday. That's probably why I heard this. I didn't read the Star Press on Saturday, but other people saw that, and then that's when it started coming to my attention. And then over the next day and a half, people started beating me up because we hadn't talked about it. Okay, so let's talk about what we do know. Okay, I'm going to be off screen just for a second. So if I'm having audio issues, I'm trying to figure out how to tell me if we're having audio issues. Give me a second. I'll figure out. Okay, if we're having audio, well, you can, if you text it in the group, if you just text audio, I'll see. No, they have not, Space Cat. That's crazy too. But okay, so what is established? Jessica Sue Harden was 36 years old and from Muncie, Indiana. Her obituary states that she died unexpectedly on Monday, August 10th, 2026. We don't know what time. The Star Press has reported that Harden died while being held in the Delaware County Jail and that her death was under investigation. The Star Press reporting identified Delaware County Chief Deputy Jeff Stanley as the law enforcement officer or official who confirmed the jail death to the newspaper. Harden had been arrested on Wednesday, August 5th, 2026, by the Muncie Police Department. Okay, so the Muncie Police Department arrested her. Not the Sheriff's Department, not some small town, not the state troopers, the police department, Muncie Police Department did. Harden was arrested on Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Okay. And the suspicion that she was being accused of, what she was under arrest for, was being a serious violent felon in possession of a firearm. That's what the police put in their probable cause and their initial report. Now, currently what's in question is if she is a serious violent felon or just a felon, because currently as it rolls under Indiana law, a felon cannot possess the handgun. But there's a difference between a felon in possession of a handgun or a serious violent felon in possession. Because the underlying booking probable cause record was not independently available for my review, I've not got this yet. I'm going to try to get this. That's just a preliminary finding. All right. She remained in custody from Monday the 5th. Or excuse me, Wednesday the 5th is when she was arrested. She remained in custody from Wednesday the 5th, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then she passed away sometime on Monday, August 10th. Okay. Her obituary identifies her as a 2008 Frankton High School graduate and says that she was a mother of a son named Zachary. The Star Press put out their story on August 20th, 2026. Okay, 10 days after she died. Well, now be careful when we say that Hoffman already stated his facts. So I reached out to Eric before doing tonight's report, and Eric stated that he has not made an official statement on this. What he stated was just kind of an unofficial situation, because when he was asked this, no, that's what we got to be careful of. This is nothing like Henry County as of yet. And we're going to talk about why. Okay, we got to be very clear. That's why we have to be very clear on this. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through what we know, what we don't know, and what's going on. So there's a difference. What Eric said was, currently, for what he had, okay, he did not believe that the current, he shouldn't have made any remarks until he had damn facts. But you got, see, this is the problem. Okay, this is the problem. We start out when we have a situation like this from a point of we're trying to prove something bad happened. That's not what we should do. It is perfectly fine for Eric to state to the media, or to anyone that asks, anyone that he wants to state this to. It's perfectly fine for Eric to say, by the by the system that we use, she does not seem as though she fits the person of a serious violent felon. She did not qualify to be charged as a serious violent felon. That's perfectly fine for him to say that, because if he's saying it, it's legitimate. Okay? That's something that he's saying that's favorable to her. Now, listen, we're not talking about whether I agree or disagree about felons possessing guns right now, but currently under the Indiana law, you cannot possess a gun as a felon. And if you possess a gun as a felon, you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail if you're a serious violent felon. You're going to go to jail if you're a felon. So even if they didn't charge her with that, or preliminarily charge her with that, rather, she's not been charged for anything. But even if they just arrested her for the felon in possession, she would have been in jail. Any other time, you can't get anything out of Eric. I don't know. I don't find that true. Eric puts out press releases several times a week. We just don't cover them because we're not a true crime podcast. The question is, why did she die in jail without an official charge? Well, what do you mean? By Indiana law, they had until the 12th of August to charge her. So it's not like she was being held under like some kind of duress, or it was improper. It was improper handling. Everything was being properly dealt with. She also could have bonded out at any point. That she wasn't being held under no bond. I don't know what her bond was, but she wasn't charged with murder. She wasn't charged with some serious sexual crime. She could have bonded out. She could have bonded out on the 8th. She could have bonded out on the 7th. She could have bonded out sometime on the 5th. But she didn't. And now people will say, well, maybe the bond was too high. Maybe she couldn't afford it. And I understand that. But nothing was happening that was out of the way with that. Now, the other things that need to be known about this is, so she was arrested on the 5th. She was booked in as a serious violent felon allegation. That's the police department. Okay. So the prosecutor's office was probably trying to determine where, how, or why they got that information. They had until the 12th to charge her, but she died on the 10th. She died 2 days before she could have been let out. Okay. The sheriff's office has confirmed that the death occurred and that they're investigating it. The autopsy has been dealt with, and we are awaiting tox reports. At the end of the day, she could have died from a drug overdose, which just because she was in jail doesn't mean couldn't have happened. She definitely could have overdosed. Or she could have died from some kind of natural cause. Now, the only bit of speculation I'm going to say about this is I don't believe there was a natural issue to this. I don't believe she was murdered, but I don't believe it was natural because I think the autopsy would have reported that. We are now waiting on toxicology. We will have to wait until toxicology. And there's nothing that the sheriff's department or the coroner's office or Eric can do, the prosecutor's office to speed that up. So what's not publicly been established is the medical cause of death. We've not heard an official manner of death, natural accident, suicide, homicide, undetermined. We've not heard the last time she was observed alive and responsive. We've not heard the exact time of death. Now, I will tell you that it has not been reported anywhere to my knowledge, but I have information that she was alone in a cell. She was not with other people. I don't know if that's true. We can't say we doubt it was an overdose because drugs, narcotics get into jail all the time. There are also other ways. What if she had drugs on her in her body cavities? And what if they bust? I don't know. And that's the reason we shouldn't speculate that. There are many ways that could have happened. But that's why it's important to wait until we have those factual information. And I don't specifically think that if you are an inmate and you take drugs in jail, and it's my opinion, that does not necessarily make the jail culpable. I think that the jail would probably pay something out. I think that something like that would happen. I think the sheriff or jail commander would want to get out in front of this immediately with public statements, and they did. They've done. I mean, no one's hiding on this. No, there's absolutely nobody hiding on this whatsoever. The prosecutor's office will say what they say when the information comes forward. They've spoke to the media. The sheriff's department has spoken to the media, and the coroner, spoke to me and said that we're waiting on tox reports. So I don't think anybody's hiding. The reason I say that this is not like Henry County is there's no accusation of a fight or any mistreatment by the jail, up until this point. Now, I have asked if she had disciplinary issues in the jail, and I was told that they have to wait and get back to me on that they don't know. When I spoke to the chief deputy, he did not have that information. He said he would look into that. But he didn't want to give me an answer off the top of his head. And I said that was fine. I will follow up with him. This was an unattended death from everything that we're hearing. So that's that. Now, I think what should be clarified, okay, is the basic timeline of her movements inside the jail on August 10th. when she was last observed, and when the emergency call out went. Was she under any medical or withdrawal suicide enhanced observation protocol? Let me see here. So, yeah, that's what I have on this. I just think that it's important to say that I understand why people are so ready to pounce anytime it's police, the jail, something like that. And I think we and a lot of people have been screwed over by that system. But when they appear to be doing the things that they need to do to get the information out, I think that we have to permit them the time. I mean, nothing can speed up the toxicology report. That will happen when it happens. You know what I mean? There's nothing we can do. That's the state labs. Did she have visitors while in jail? That's a very good question. I don't know. The thing here is, I talked to the people that I talked to after hours, so I'm going to make a formal request tomorrow during the day for this information, and we will get that information, and that happens, you know. So as soon as I have information on that, I will bring that to you. I will give that information to you. I'm certainly not hiding. And look, if something happened in the jail, and if this is a Nick Gawley situation, I'm telling you 1,000% it is not. Just beyond all shadow of a doubt, this is not a Nick Gawley situation. If it is, I'm ready to pounce. Let's give him hell. I just don't think it's that. And so it's sad. I mean, at the end of the day, this was somebody's daughter, you know, maybe brother, or not brother, sister. I don't know what that means. We know how this will always go. What does that mean? When there is a woman in a jail who dies on her own, unattended, what do you mean? How will that go? I don't know how that will go. What happens if the toxicology comes back and says she overdosed on some kind of drugs? Yeah, maybe we need to have an investigation and look and see where that came from, and we need to prosecute anybody involved, including the COs or anyone involved with doing that. I fully believe that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying there's some culpability with the jail with that. That's fine. But they never find themselves at fault for any death inside their buildings. Well, because I'll be honest, a lot of the times they're not at fault. If another inmate beats and kills another inmate, you know, that happens. People are murdered on the outside. People get murdered on the inside. If an inmate wants to kill themselves, they can do that. So first of all, they're not people. They're not investigating themselves. There's no there's nothing. There's not an you guys are acting like there's an accusation that something happened to her. This is not. You got to get out of the Nick Gawley situation. This is not a Nick Gawley situation. Nick Gawley, there was the accusation that he was in a fight and that he got down, and we were able to get video of that and prove that and show that real quickly. This woman was in a segregated cell and died unattended. The same thing would have happened if she was outside. I mean, very possibly, if she was outside in the real world in her home and she was in her bedroom, the same thing could have happened. I'm putting this out there. Are there people out there stating that something happened to her? Because I've not seen that. I've not seen anybody stating that she was attacked or that something bad happened to her. So if someone has information of that, you know how I found out about the Nick Gawley situation? His aunt reached out to me. Well, when you get murdered, quote unquote, inside, the cops aren't responsible for you. When you get murdered inside the institution, so the corrections officers, the county would be responsible. Muncie Police Department has nothing to do with whatever happened to her inside the jail. So it wouldn't be the quote unquote cops. It would be the people at the jail. So if she's murdered in the jail, it would be the sheriff's department and the county that would be at fault. How long was she there? She was arrested on the 5th and she died on the 10th. She was there 5 days. During that time, she didn't bail out. She wasn't under no bond. She could have bonded out, but she didn't. And I get it. Maybe she didn't have the money to. I completely understand that. Back up. It's not normal for young humans to die suddenly in the jail. First of all, it's not normal for young humans to die suddenly, except it happens all the time. It also has been happening a lot more since 2020. Hint, hint, jab, jab. And it's something that if you Google and you look, it's something that has been happening more frequently, in the last several years. But again, we have to wait and get the results of this. Now, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, the autopsy, from what I'm seeing, do not show anything going on. This woman was arrested for being a felon in possession of a handgun. The police said she was a violent felon. The prosecutor saying that they don't see anything to determine that she was a violent felon. So we're going to take that description off. To me, it seems like the prosecutor's office, if they would have continued going, if she would have lived, they would have more than likely charged her with a felon in possession of a handgun without the violent felon descriptor. So all I'm saying is, look, if they come back and say, well, toxicology is okay, everything's okay, we can really start pouncing on whatever, doing what we're doing. I'm just saying, I get why we're all gun shy, and we should, and asking questions are important, but you can't. Even when I'm asking questions of a politician that I don't like, depending on what it is, there's very few that I start off asking the question, planning to be like, aha, I'm going to get you. Some of it we've got to say, all right, we'll let the process play out. Okay. You know what I mean? We'll let this see what happens here. Because again, I've not heard anybody saying there was any missteps here. I've not heard any allegations of any wrongdoing. No one has shown me any of that. Matter of fact, even going to the page where this was on, even going to Heather Unfiltered's page, I'm going to read her post. Okay. She made this a day ago. She says, when the jail doors close, who is responsible for your health? That's a good question. Jessica Sue Harden, 36, was arrested on August 5th for suspicion of being a serious violent felon in possession of a firearm. 5 days later, on August 10th, Harden died inside the Delaware County Jail. A statement from Delaware County Prosecutor Eric Hoffman raises an important question about the legal circumstances surrounding her detention. And I disagree. I like Heather, and I'm not saying anything negative about her. I disagree with how she phrases that. There's not a question around her detention, because at the end of the day, whether or not she was a violent felon, or, a felon, or a violent or serious felon, that does not matter. It's like it's not like jail if she was just a regular old felon. Okay, if she had 2 DUIs and been charged, convicted, and charged and convicted in the span of 5 years, she could have been a felon. And that, unfortunately, under state law, I don't agree with that. Okay, I don't agree with that. So the physical part of the autopsy never showed anything. Well, wait. What are we saying? Because we want to answer these questions here and factually. I'm saying, from my understanding, I'm not putting this out as a stamped fact, but from what I will find out on this tomorrow. I will find out more on this tomorrow. But from what I believe, there was no sign of like she died because she had a heart attack. She died because she was strangled. She died because she had blunt force trauma. The autopsy would absolutely have shown that, and we would know that. All right, we'll go back to the icon if that's all right. Are we getting better with that? So that's a very good possibility. The toxicology reports are not automatic. They have to send them off. They have to send off the samples. And in the state of Indiana, you say that like that's a bad thing. I don't get what you're saying. So I'm not going to accuse her of overdosing. I'm not going to accuse her of overdosing till we know that. But if she did die of a drug overdose, that's not the same thing as the jailer beat her to death. The sheriff ran in and strangled her. I know that people would be happy if that happened, but I don't think he did it. I think he's going to be cleared in this one. He'll probably go on to win his election as the District 3 city county councilor and keep living life. I mean, we can hate cops all we need to, if you want. Oh no, and and I'm fine with okay, good. And look, I'm fine with people. I'm not saying people shouldn't have suspicions, people shouldn't ask questions. I'm just saying when we're doing it, we have to slow down because all right, so let me go back and finish reading this thing from Heather. I like Heather. I don't have a problem with Heather. But I just saw this and there was a couple things. So she says a statement from Eric Hoffman raises important questions about the legal circumstances surrounding her detention. I think that's framed wrong. There's a statement from Hoffman raised questions on what the specific charge would be, but not whether she should be detained. She should have been detained. Okay. According to Hoffman, Hardin's prior convictions did not appear to qualify her for the serious violent felon charge, and prosecutors did not have sufficient evidence to formally charge her, not with anything. They just didn't have sufficient evidence to charge her formally with the serious violent felon. That did not mean she was not going to be charged. Okay. And I will get the bottom to this. If she would have lived, I will find out. If she would have lived, would she have been formally charged by August 12th? And I fully believe, and I will state that here right now, the answer is yes. Okay. Heather goes on to say that raises basic question. If prosecutors determined that prior convictions did not qualify for the charge and that there were insufficient evidence to formally charge her, what was the legal basis for keeping her in jail? Well, I can tell you, the problem with that question is, supposing that the first line was right. The first line's not right. Just because she's not charged as a serious violent felon, we know without a shadow of a doubt she is a prior felon. So possession of the handgun, period, whether we like or agree or whatever, it's illegal. So that's she was detained for a valid reason. Nicole says it wouldn't or couldn't have been an overdose if she was there for 5 days. Well, sure she could. Let's think about this. Is what a secondary charge? Well, so she was not been formally charged, period. She's not been charged at all, period. For this offense. She was preliminarily booked in on the drug or excuse me, the gun charge, and she also had paraphernalia. So there were multiple charges, at least 2 charges that she was going to be charged with. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, number 1, she could have had drugs inside her body that were not able to be found on booking, and maybe the packaging popped or whatever. That can happen. Or maybe she got them from someone else while in there. You know, we don't know. We're going to have to look into all of that. Okay. So you can't just be walking down the street and get arrested for possession of a handgun. What made them encounter her and come in contact with her? So they pulled her over. It was a traffic stop. Okay. So she was stopped by Muncie police on August 5th after a traffic stop for traffic violations on Madison Street near downtown. A glass smoking device was found in the front passenger seat of the Tahoe that she was driving. And once they find that, then they have reason to search the vehicle. Okay. The police report states that she told the officers that she could not possess a firearm due to her prior felony convictions. There were 2 men also in the vehicle, and they denied any connection to the firearm. They were passengers. As the driver, it sucks, but she took possession of the firearm. You know, one of those men should have stepped up to the plate and said, "Hey, it was my gun." You know what I mean? Yeah, it sucks. And that's very real, Stumblefoot. She could have absolutely died from withdrawal. Now, if she would have died from withdrawal, I'm pretty sure that the initial autopsy would have shown that. Because you don't die from the word withdrawal. During withdrawal, you die from a stroke or a heart attack or something, which would have shown up in the autopsy. And that's exactly right. Now, I definitely agree. That's the reason you don't answer questions. You don't answer questions if you're the good guy, You don't answer questions if you're the bad guy. Quit answering questions, folks. You know what I mean? That is that. I agree with that 100%. Look, this is sad. It sucks. I hate it. I wish it wouldn't have happened. She's probably not a bad person. I don't know anything about her. I don't know this woman from Eve, if that's what you want to say. It sucks. I hate this, but it is what it is. So I will let you guys know when there's more to know. Okay, we're going to move on from this. I'll keep you guys posted, but we will move on from this. All right. Moving on to Henry County. We got to talk about another kind of police thing in Henry County. And that is down there. I'm hearing reports that the prosecutor's office in Henry County is in complete shambles, that everybody has left the prosecutor's office except for the elected prosecutor and one deputy. The investigator has left, and all of the deputy prosecutors have left, and that I'm hearing it from sources down there, that they are years behind. Okay, years behind. And the reason this is being brought up is I'm hearing that this is one of those reasons that we have not heard anything about the two deputies I'm
We have lost Kristopher, really lost him, not just audio or video. We've just lost him. He disappeared. So hopefully he'll be back in here in a minute, or I'll have a panic attack. It's not just, am I muted? I'm not showing I'm muted. Can you hear me now? Kristopher.
I'm trying to get back on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you see me? I'm getting so tired of this, man.
We lost you when you said the reason we may not have heard anything about those two cops.
Good Lord, that's all you heard? Okay, so the reason that we might not have heard anything about those two cops is because the Henry County Prosecutor's Office has just abandoned ship. Everybody's just jumped out. Everybody's left. And so that's a problem. I'm going to be looking into this. And I will keep you guys posted. It's very crazy. All right. Also in Henry County, I want to bring you guys up to date and remind you that tomorrow, the special election will take place. Tomorrow, Knightstown special election. Town Council, Clerk Treasurer, Tuesday, August 25th, 2026. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Knightstown United Methodist Church. 27 South Jefferson Street. Okay. Your candidates are Knightstown Clerk Treasurer, Select 1, Carla R. Easton Gorman, Barton Bart Whitesett. Your Knightstown Town Council is Guy Laux, David Maddox, and Desiree Payton. You need to take your IDs. Your ID address must match your voter registration ID address. Open to all registered voters living within the Knightstown town limits. For more information, go to indianavoters.com or indianavoters.in.gov. I say indianavoters.com is the easiest way. Or the Henry County Voters Registration Office at 765-529-9310. Okay, if you need any help, you can call me tomorrow. I'll help you out. Okay, I'll keep you posted on what's going on with that, with what's going on with the special election. We'll let you know what's happening. That'll be tomorrow. I'll keep you posted and let you know. That, of course, that special election stuff can be found over here by my head. So that's where that is. You can find that. Okay. I know I'm working on it, Jackie. I'm working on it. Okay. So that's what that is. Next up, I'm looking into what's going on in Northwest Indiana. Now, I don't know if this is a true picture. Surely it can't be a truth picture. Surely, Lenny, you know what? All the bullshit aside, and all the jokes and busting balls on here that we do and everything. You know what, brother? I really appreciate, and I know that other people have said that, but I really appreciate people like you saying that, because you don't owe me nothing. You don't owe me anything. You could be doing anything, and I appreciate people saying that. It makes me feel good, because that's stressing me out, because being in law enforcement or whatever, I still come from the world of small business. My dad was a small business owner, and did multi-million-dollar company, but it was a small business. And I was always taught that you give the customer the very best product, and when you screw up, you fix it, and you do it right, and you don't give a shitty product. My dad never gave a shitty product, and when we did screw something up, we fixed it. We didn't blame other people. We didn't blame the customer. We blamed ourselves, and we fixed it. And this, I look at you guys as more than customers, but it's the same kind of principle. And I see what I'm doing here, and I look at what I'm giving you as a shitty service, and it's killing me. Literally, the week before this started happening, I had sat down and went through a bunch of stuff on trying to how to grow the platform and do more. And all of this has completely derailed all of that. So I appreciate you saying that. And we will figure this out. And we will figure this out. You started out with a microphone and a phone. Listen, I started out with no microphone. I started out with just a phone in my hand. And you know what? You might absolutely be right. It might be time for me to just go back to the front yard and my underwear and my phone for a little bit, because it looks good now. Everything seems to be working, and I appreciate you guys saying that. But I am looking into this, wherever this is, right here. I'm looking into whatever's going on here. I don't know if that's true. If that is true.
So I'm adding this up here for you, Kristopher. So this is NASA's, real-time image. Of Northeast Indiana.
As of right now. So
that's right now.
Okay, so this picture does not seem true. Can you back out a little at all? Oh, wait, no, we were that way. So, okay, we were looking at, I don't know where we were.
We're in Ohio.
Okay, I was going to say, that didn't look like something was not happening there.
Okay, so this will be Chicago here by.
Yeah. Now, can you blow us up or get us closer?
How the hell did I end up in Ohio? I don't know.
It's like something's not okay. Now.
Come in a bit.
Yeah. Now take us down. So that doesn't look like that picture. So that's good to know. I mean, I'm assuming this was AI. I mean, that's a little crazy there, seeing what that looks like. So I appreciate you doing that. That being said, look, there's no question. There are serious issues going on in Northwest Indiana. NIPSCO is their power company up there, and the governor's now like saying, oh, we need to get the regulatory committee on them, and we need to do this, and we need to do this, you know what I mean? So it's complete horseshit. So I'm going to start looking into what's going on up there. I just thought that was crazy. And I think we're going to end on this because, I had more, but we'll get it when we figure this shit out. Sadly, and I haven't even been able to hear it all because I've been doing stuff and been researching. God, this sucks because I knew him well and talked with him and consider this guy a good friend. Matt Bear. Remember, young people don't just die. 48 years old. And this is a crazy situation. Matt Bear was the traffic reporter for WIBC, 93.1 WIBC. And he should have been up and in the building by 4 or 5 a.m. He should have been in the building at least before 6. Tony Katz starts his radio program, and Matt Bear's not there. And they were scrambling, and Tony was actually making some jokes about it, and they were being lighthearted and being like, well, saying things about Matt not being there or whatever. And so obviously he was a no-call, no-show, and that wasn't Matt. Matt was never a no-call, no-show. And so they tried to get a hold of him, and they couldn't, and they did all kinds of different things. And sadly, I guess somebody went to his house, and he had died. He had died. And they actually made the announcement on the afternoon show, Hammer and Nigel. If you guys haven't heard that, you can go look that up on YouTube if the internet allows you, and listen to the afternoon show, the Hammer and Nigel show. And they were in there, and they had a bunch of people. Tony Katz was in there, and Janetta, and they had Mel McMahon was there. Haven't thought of her or talked to her in a very long time, so it was cool hearing from her. But they made that announcement, and that's just absolutely is gut-wrenching. The fact that Matt passed away, everybody knew that he had issues with addiction, and he had been sober, and he did a great show with sobriety, and him and I forget the name of the guy that was on the podcast with him, but they did a great show, and it was, it had been up for awards, and he was just a hell of a great guy. They were talking about, and this is very true, at 93.1, not everybody gets along, even between the personalities and the newsroom people. There's some heated people there. Everybody got along with Matt. Matt Bear was a badass. And to go back, and I actually heard when I was earlier in the day, he had done a commercial for them. And so I heard his commercial, and it made me chuckle. And I'm listening to him on the radio doing his commercial. I didn't know he was dead at the time. And to my knowledge, nobody probably knew that he was dead. But you're hearing him do it, and knowing that he wasn't there, and thinking like, oh man, this is going to be a story, like what happened? And then to find out that he died is just absolutely heartbreaking. So thoughts and prayers go out to everybody on the 93.1 WIBC staff. If you're friends with any of these people on social media, you're seeing they're all doing their little stories and saying different things. And this is going to be a tough loss for 93.1 WIBC for a while. And so my thoughts and my prayers are with him. Obviously, my thoughts and prayers are with his family. Stop rocking. That's the reason I have to be at the studio and doing in the studio where I can't be moving because I'm ADD, so that's the problem. I used to walk around and bounce like this, and so that's the reason I had to get into a seated position. Sorry. That's funny. But yeah, so my thoughts and prayers go out with his family, his friends, his coworkers, and just absolutely, absolutely sad. And listen, I want to tell you, Nick's mom. Can you put Nick's mom, that comment back up? Amanda's comment. I'm not going to tell you who because it's not my place. But I just want you to know, Amanda, that I talked to an individual today. I didn't know that you were on. I'm glad you're here. I talked to an individual today that we'll just say has been employed as a Henry County Sheriff's deputy. Not going to tell you if he still is or isn't anymore, but he was. And he said that he saw you last weekend or the weekend before standing out, on the corner doing the thing for your son. And he wanted to pull over and tell you what a great man he thought your son was, that he had interacted with Nick and that they had actually had occasions to interact in an official capacity, that he had actually arrested Nick in the past, but that when he did arrest Nick, that Nick was always very respectful, and he never had a personal issue with Nick. He knew that Nick was not a bad person. He knew that Nick had some demons, and that he knew that Nick was trying to fight them, and he respected Nick, and he respects what you're doing, and wanted to say, keep it up. And so he said that he was going to pull over and tell you that, but he didn't want to cause you any, and maybe he will at some point in the future, and I hope he does, and I will talk to him and say that, tell him maybe he should again, but he wanted you to know that, from a law enforcement perspective, that he didn't look at Nick badly, and he respected Nick and thought Nick was a good young man, and he was sad to hear what happened, and he just wanted you to know that. And so while he might not have actually stopped and told you that, I wanted you to hear that. I was actually going to message you tonight when the show was over, so I'm glad you were here, because I definitely wanted you to know that. So yeah, that's that. But before we go, as we do here, anytime like we have this situation, I do want to take a moment of silence. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me see. Oh, thank you, and thank him for me. I will never stop until I get justice. Yes, I would love that. Okay, I will let him know. He didn't want to intrude, and he didn't want to. I don't think that he wanted to. He didn't want to like make you guys feel bad or do anything that he didn't want to. He didn't want to make the situation worse, I think. So that's the reason he didn't do that. But he wanted me to tell you, he didn't specifically say that. I said I was going to. But I will have him stop over and see you sometime, and keep up the good fight, and we'll go from there. All right. Sorry, guys, for the chaos. We will get this figured out one way or another. I'm going to have calls into Verizon. I'm looking into Starlink, and I don't know. Thank you guys. Take care. God bless. Good night. And we will. Hey, Kate, stay right there, right till the end, and I will. We'll go from there. You guys take care. Goodbye.